Hello there again, everybody. This is WillPedido, welcoming you back to this channel. Again, we will be talking about music, of course. This time around, I want to tell you about the music or the band that I've been listening to in the past few months that we've been under quarantine here in the Philippines. We've got an enhanced community quarantine and now certain variations of that with restrictions, in terms of movement, people movement in the city and around. I think some of the other parts of the world has had to do that as well, just to, of course, slow down the spread of this virus that we're all up against. And again, one with you guys and hoping that we all have a vaccine soon enough, and this just goes away and we're all back to normal. But during the past few months, I've had the chance to look back at the previous bands that has made great music in the 70s. I'm talking about the likes of Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, of course, Black Sabbath, and my new favorite band, Deep Purple. So I want to talk to you about the reasons why you should also or may also want to look at the music that Deep Purple has been producing. And I say has been because they just recently released another album, Whoosh. So this is just a great band. Such musicians they are. Here in the Philippines, back in the day, in my teenage years in the 90s, all I knew about Deep Purple is, of course, Smoke on the Water, and then later on realizing that Highway Star is also a song by them, and of course Soldier of Fortune. I never could have guessed that it's also from the same band. So of course now reading through their history, it made me realize how different those output that output was. Meaning Soldier of Fortune, and learning about Mark One, Mark Two, Mark Three, Mark Four, Five, Six. And now I realize that there's a lot of variation in the lineup, but the core of that group has stayed together, since I think 50 years now, since maybe more than 50 years. I think the first album that they released was in 1968. So today I want to talk to you about, or give you 10 reasons in the form of songs why you may want to listen to Deep Purple. If you are my age, if you are somebody like me who has not really looked at them way beyond or beyond Smoke on the Water when you were trying to play guitar in your younger years as well. Everybody had to go through that riff, right? So here we go. I'll tell you about the 10 songs that are my favorites right now. This has been changing in the past few months. I've I've discovered a lot of material by this group. So yeah, I'll start with my number 10. This is again reasons why you should uh, you know look at Deep Purple one more time. Uh, Number 10 is Battle Rages On. This is from this album here. Uh, some glare in there. Uh, Battle Rages On is the title track to this album that was released. I think when was this released? 1980, 87, I think. I don't have these things memorized. The release dates. There's just so many materials released by this group. But Battle Rages On is a great tune, and you could also sense that it is indeed talking about probably the friction that is still in existence there between that Ian Gillan and Richie Blackmore. But such a great tune. Listen to it. This album is some of the critics doesn't like it, but I like it. I dig this. This is still true to their form. Um, Battle Rages On. So number 9, I've got Knocking at Your Back Door, which is from an album in 1984. Now I remember. I think this one is in the 90s. I think this is in 1993. Battle Rages On. Um, the last album released by Mark II era, if I'm not mistaken. So going back to my number nine, "Knocking at Your Back Door" is one of the songs that's part of that comeback album that they had after Mark II lineup decided to, to regroup in 1984. So "Knocking at Your Back Door" is starts off with, you know, uh, great work again by John Lord and on the Hammond organ, and it's like, it starts off with some sort of a warning. The sound that they were or he was producing was like, that something's coming, and that something is must be good. The song is just great. And "Knocking at Your Back Door." I don't have the Perfect Strangers album. I couldn't find it yet. Not a lot of resources here in the Philippines at this time. But I do have this. This is Deep Purple. "Nobody's Perfect." The live cuts from a 1987 tour. Um, this is they've got live versions of "Perfect Strangers" here, and "Knocking at Your Back Door." Of course, I say "Perfect Strangers" because "Perfect Strangers" is the album that was taken from, and also "Perfect Strangers" is my number eight. Another great tune from that album. Um, and again, an intro that starts off with the organ, and and then 10-15 seconds later it just all comes together, with the driving guitar, and that great rhythm that is by Ian Pace, and then the bass that was being played, just to keep the vibe of that tune going. um, Great tune, "Perfect Strangers." That was released also as a single, if I'm not mistaken. My number seven is "Woman from Tokyo." "Woman from Tokyo" is the first song from this album. Um, this is Deep Purple. "Who Do We Think We Are?" This is, I think, the last album by the Mark II era, released in the mid 70s, before they came back together in 1984. Uh, Only seven songs in this album, but very, very memorable tunes here. "Woman from Tokyo" is the one that really stands out for me. Um, Later on, I'm going to tell you some of my thoughts as we go through, I guess, the honorable mentions later on. That's at number seven. My number six is "Strange Kind of Woman." Uh, there is a cover band or a tribute band named "Strange Kind of Woman." You guys check it out in YouTube. They're a lot of fun. Comprised of all female. It's an all female group, and they play really, really well. They I saw a couple of videos already wherein Ian Pace was watching them, and giving out commentary and complimenting the group. But "Strange Kind of Woman" is a very positive vibe tune. Same with "Woman from Tokyo." "Woman from Tokyo" is very catchy. That's why to me it's like inseparable. Of course, having almost similar titles, but the vibe is also almost similar. "Strange Kind of Woman" is just so playful as well. I have that here on this album. This is a Deep Purple 30 Very Best Of. This is in commemoration of the 30th year of Deep Purple. I think this was released in 1998. Again, going back from 1968 as the start date of that band of Deep Purple. So yeah, you've got "Strange Kind of Woman" here, and the next song that I'll tell you about comes from this album. My number five, a simple song from "Now What." So this is the album immediately following the passing of John Lord. Um, A simple song it starts off very very slow, but this song was released in 2013, and imagine, if you get to listen to this song as well, and even to this album, it doesn't sound like it's a band that was coming from the 70s. They know how to play music, they know how to evolve and be timely. That they're not out of date if you listen to that song, simple song. Yeah. I just wish that the radio stations here, would have been able to play this, and uh, us, or even myself, was already acquainted with Deep Purple even back in the day, because these are great songs in this album. Now what? So yeah, simple song on number 5. Um, Demon's Eye is my number 4. Demon's Eye is part of an album. I think Fireball is the album where it was taken from. So I got to listen to Demon's Eye from this album, The Deepest Purple. There you go. Demon's Eye, man. Somebody could come up with that song right now and say, and couldn't even, and won't realize that it's from a group that's back in the 70s, that was formed back in the 70s, an album that was released in the 70s. That's how good that tune is. Menacing. It's the even the vocal work of Ian Gillan is still superb in this. Yeah, Demon's Eye. That's on my favorite track. That's my favorite track on that album. So my top 3 songs, all come from a single album. It's just been this one. I've been playing these out in the past couple of months. In Rock. This is the first album released by the Mark II lineup. My number 3 song, is Black Knight. Black Knight. I know it's part of an album an album version of this that is different, than this one that I have. But of course, Black Knight could be seen in a lot of the compilation albums that they have. It's the first track here on this album. But Black Knight is just a concert staple of them, as I've learned and seen online. Man, the audience participation, and I could just hope that I'm part of that audience, and that soon enough, when this is all over, this pandemic, that when they play arenas again, that somehow I get to have the chance to see them live. Because Black Knight with a live audience is just so much fun. So my number 2 is from this album still, Child in Time. If you haven't heard that song, go listen to it. It's just gonna pull you in, and it showcases the superb vocals of Ian Gillan. It was mind blowing for me to see it for the first time. I remember, I'm laughing because it's just so much fun. It brought so much joy to me to see somebody singing like that. I thought some of the singers that I heard, in the 90s were great. I thought nobody could touch, the likes of Robert Plant, and of course, Axel in his heyday, could really scream. But this guy, Ian Gillan, even seeing him do this live, of course, the older videos that you see in YouTube, Child in Time, his work in there, just, hair raising. Superb guy. Listen to it. And then my number 1 song, right now, the one that's closest to me, is Into the Fire. Into the Fire, still on this album, or from this album, but Into the Fire, you play it now, I don't think, you're gonna, if somebody hears it for the first time right now, for example, they won't be able to guess that it comes from Deep Purple, a band that has been together or most of them, since 1968. So, Into the Fire, you know, put that against any of those grunge singles that was released in the early 90s, mid 90s, any of those alternative tunes that was popular. It just stands as tall or not, if not taller than those songs. From Pearl Jam, from Nirvana. This one is on fire. Ian Gillan is on fire here. Um, just driving rhythm, driving guitar. The drum work, of course, of Ian Pace as well. Um, yeah, yeah, those are just 10 songs, guys, and there's a lot of material that they have. Just listen to this, from first track to last track. I doubt that you're not gonna love it. If you're a hard rock fan. But there's just so much tunes here. Um, I would tell you about honorable mentions that I picked out. I haven't even talked about this album. You know, uh, there's a lot of great songs here. Pictures of Home, Lazy, Space Trackin', which is where's that other disc that I have? They do a lot of variations of that song. When they expand it, listen to this one, Made in Japan. Um, Space Truckin' here is about 20 minutes long, and you just see how great musicians these guys are. When they play it out, and it seems like it's not all planned. They just play with their guts and they feel it out with each other, and you know come up with a masterpiece still. Um, you know, I've got this one as well. This is another compilation album they have. This one has songs from the 1968 album up to that album Come Taste the Band, released in 1975. Highlights of this: When a Blind Man Cries. That's another honorable mention. Um, of course, I have to mention Hallelujah. This is also great. Emareta and Hush is also here. From the early days of the band. Um, yeah, even from this album, Deep Purple has uh, a song here, The Painter. Uh, Bird Has Flown is quite a good signal that Richie Blackmore and John Lord and the drummer Ian Pace is really trying to come out with a heavy sounding music. That is the direction that they wanted to take, and they really had to replace the singer that they first had with Ian Gillan eventually. But yeah, those are just some of the honorable mentions. I have to mention also from the Mark III era, Burn, the title track here is also fantastic. Even Mistreated, Mistreated could be, you will love that song as well if you like Child in Time, the slow kind of music that they are able to produce. But it comes out to me as a honorable mention at this stage. But yeah, there's so much material that Deep Purple has released, and compilation albums. It's been a trademark together with the live albums that they have. So I'm a long way from being able to complete or even get to like 70-80% of the material that they have released. I think I don't even have probably 50% of the albums that they have released, and compilation, live, and studio albums all included. But yeah, I hope you learned something today, and was able to pick up a few notes, and lead you towards discovering Deep Purple as well, and enjoy the band as much as I am enjoying them right now. So thank you guys for listening. See you soon.